Here we go again. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll just get rid of that. There we are, and move that. I have the chat open, so feel free to chat. And welcome to Mindset Reset. And this show is about resetting your mental health and your emotions. It's about empowering people who have got depression or anxiety or any other mental health condition to take charge of their emotions, to find a balance within their emotions and understand the triggers that come with it. This is all about, it's about pop culture and using pop culture to teach us lessons towards understanding who we really are. I think it's fine to be sad the same way it's fine to be happy. So, because we're all unique, we're all emotional. That's what human beings are. We're emotional creatures, but we are also strong. And I'd like to think that having depression or anxiety or feeling things isn't a problem. And we can overcome it ourselves by understanding ourselves. We are magical. We have an imagination which can help us. And this is what I aim to do in the MI experience and Mindset Reset. Welcome, I'm Zac. And just so you know, I don't offer a cure, but I do offer a refocus. Now, coming up in the show, I am going to be talking about, and it'll only be 20 minutes or so, I'm going to be talking about flatlined emotions. I learned a little bit this week while I was researching it, and it's quite interesting. It has a name, of all things. So it has a wonderful name. I'm also going to be giving you my movie of the week recommendation. But first of all, we have question of the week. Dun, da, da, da. So here we are, a question for you all. And I'll give you, there's one question, there's 3 possible answers. You give me one answer, type it in the comments down there. And if there is a winner at the end of the show, you get an imaginary prize, which is wonderful. Now, this is from a movie. It's a quote. And what movie is this line from? Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Is it from A, Princess Bride, B, High Noon, or C, Taken? Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Princess Bride, High Noon, or Taken? You choose, and I will announce the winner at the very end of the show. Wonderful. Right. So each week, I sort of open up with a little story about myself and about my experience dealing with depression. And I wanted to talk this week about my experience with medication and how it made me feel, because it kind of fits in with what I'm saying this week with the flatlined emotions. So quite a few years ago now, when I was diagnosed with depression, I was put on medication, and medication is fine. Medication helps a lot of people, but I sort of think it's a short-term answer. It shouldn't be a long-term answer. What it did do, the positives, first of all, what it did do is it gave my partner and I a pause, a sort of moment of calm, because there was a long period of time where I was very emotional, extremely happy, extremely sad. And that causes frustration. It also causes anger, and there's lots of emotions flying around. We lived in quite an emotional state. And the medication gave us a chance to put a stop to that for a short period of time. It gave a chance for my partner to have a break, and for me to have a break, really, from feeling that. Which I think we both benefited from. But I was interested, as I started to feel a bit more normal again, I was interested at the effects that it was having on me to take this medication, because I didn't feel very well. Apart from not feeling mentally well, I didn't feel physically very well. I had lots of stomach issues. I was red in the face all the time. I was quite puffy. I look at photos of myself and I look like I look quite fat and puffy and sort of like I'm on 5 bottles of wine a day or something, some wine connoisseur. And I didn't like that. I started disliking the person that I saw in the mirror. I didn't look very happy anyway. And also, I noticed that I couldn't laugh at anything. I found things funny, but I couldn't laugh. I remember us watching a film and she turned to me and said, "Are you not enjoying this?" I said, "Yeah, I am. I think it's really good, but I can't feel any emotion towards it." So it sort of made me realize that while it was fine in removing or dulling the bad stuff, you know, the stuff nobody likes, the dark side, it was also dulling the light side of things as well, and just making me feel like I felt like the Terminator with just this monotone voice and just sort of delivering everything sort of with no passion or no emotion at all. And that's what I didn't like, because I'm an actor, because I'm a writer. I needed that. I needed to feel something. And I didn't write, I didn't do anything, didn't do stuff like that. It was very difficult acting when I did that. While I did, though, however, this is a cheap plug for my book, I did write a book. I'm not telling you to go and buy it, by the way. This is just to highlight what I did. It was more like a pamphlet anyway. I wrote a book based on my experience. I had no intention of publishing this. I simply wanted to write down how I was feeling and try and tell myself that it was okay to be feeling the wild and crazy stuff as well. And I wrote in this book about what I was feeling about taking medication and how it made me feel sick all the time. And I think I was shaky a lot. I was always shaky, which I found really weird, because it just didn't sit right with me. So, I mean, I took the personal decision to come off my medication without consulting medical experts. And I'm not recommending anyone should do that, but I do recommend that you have to listen to yourself and understand what you want, and trust yourself that you're doing the right thing. Because even then, when I came off, it was 18 months before I started to feel sort of back together again. And the after effects were quite nasty as well. Nothing that you can't deal with. It's sort of fluey and shaky and coldy, and, you know, but it's just, you don't feel right. You don't feel good. But I have documented it in here. I published this on Amazon because I wanted to just share it to see if anybody out there would benefit from it. And I promoted it on Twitter on my writing profile, and I was very surprised and grateful to receive a message saying that this young lady had bought the book, she read it, and it really helped her come to terms with her anxiety and to accept herself for who she is. And just the fact that it's done that means that I have succeeded in what I did. Just one person being beneficial, finding some benefit, is amazing to me. So that is that. So yes, it's having that feeling of not being anywhere, which I wasn't keen on. And a bit of mindfulness now and a bit of meditation now gives me that acceptance of who I am. Because, you know, coming away from medication, it means the thoughts are there, the images, the everything, you know, all the nightmarish drama. But I chose to accept that. So I choose now to live with it, and I choose not to use medication to go any further. So I've got to put up with it. That's what I'm going to do. And that's part of what this is all about, trying to help me understand what it is that I'm trying to do more than anybody else. But let's talk about something else now, because this is Mindset Reset, and this is about pop culture. Why do I use pop culture to talk about our emotions? Well, I do it primarily because it opens up our imaginations. Meditation opens our imaginations. That's not easy. Two words that aren't easy to say: meditation, imagination. Yeah. So, and pop culture does that, whether it's music, whether it's movies, whether it's, watching, going to a gallery. I mean, take art galleries, for instance. I do believe that art is a real channel of all our emotions, and it teaches us how human beings react, how human beings behave, and how we are emotionally, and the emotions that we have. And that is what art galleries should be for, because I've never liked the idea of going to an art gallery and you see people standing back going, oh, yes, well, I think he was trying to do this. And nobody will ever know what he was trying to do. But one thing that we do know is that he or she was coming from an emotion. The image is sparked by an emotion. Even if it's a portrait of somebody, that artist is trying to capture the emotion of that person in the eyes or facial expression or anything. And all you need to do is look at it and say, oh, that makes me feel this. And if it doesn't make you feel anything, then that's fine. We don't need to understand the where it came from and what they were trying to do and what they were trying to achieve. Really, it's about what it makes you feel. And if you hate it, at least you're feeling something about it, and then you move on to the next one. I took my children to an art gallery, or we did rather, many years ago, and I got them to, we went to the gift shop first, and we went round the postcards, and I got them to choose 5 postcards of images that they really were drawn to, and then we bought them, and then we went around the gallery looking for the pictures, and it helped them connect to the gallery. It was the National Gallery, I think, in London, in Trafalgar Square. But art is everywhere. It's all of us. And a lot of people are put off by art, but art is us. And I think we should celebrate the power of art, the power of Grayskull, because we are all connected. We're all connected to each other. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's talk about something else now. What is the time? Crikey, I'm rambling on. So let's go to our core subject of the week, which is flatlined emotions. Now, I have written this because as I was researching it, there were some quite important points I felt. So I don't want to miss anything. I don't want you to feel like you've been shortchanged here. So I will read this if you're happy with that, because it is, I was quite surprised what I found when I started researching this. Now, this is all about flatlined emotions. When I started to look at this, I had the image in my head of the 1990 movie Flatliners. That's where this all started, starring Kiefer Sutherland and Julia Roberts. However, when I thought about it a little bit more, I realized that this particular movie is about doctors who are trying to find out how it feels to be dead and to see if there is a process we go through as our spirit leaves us. You know, like, do we see white lights or something like that? And then I suddenly realized that maybe that's not appropriate for a self-help show about mindset and mental health. So I scrapped that idea. But I did find out that there is such a thing as flatlined emotions. And it is that feeling of just feeling nothing. You are not happy. You're not sad. You're not interested. You're not disinterested. You don't care what you have for dinner. You don't care what you watch on the television. You don't care if this happens or if that happens, because it's going to happen, and who gives a crap? That sort of emotion, because it is an emotion. The trouble is that it comes across as nothing because it's born of nothing. Or is it? Let's dive into flatliners. No, flatlined emotions. Now, everything has a name, if you look it up, and flatlined emotions are called anhedonia. It is typically described, and this is taken from, I think it was the NHS website, as not being able to feel joy, and is a symptom of major depressive disorder. It can also occur during the first 2 to 12 months of sobriety. It typically affects people who are overcoming any kind of addiction. And it sort of feels like you're lost, you're disconnected, or sometimes you're lonely. What is interesting about this, though, while I was researching it, is that it tends to happen during a period of change, during a transitional time of life. The transition. Now, change is scary for everyone. I've never met anyone who likes or craves change. Yes, sometimes you need to change the wallpaper, and that can be exciting once it is done. Or you need to buy a new car, and that can be exciting once it is done. But the actual physical process of going through the change is uncomfortable, long, and requires patience. And it can also be quite boring. And I speak as someone who has had to wallpaper every room in a house. We are not great at change. This flatlining effect then happens to all of us at some time or another, and does not mean that you have a major depressive disorder. There are always things we couldn't give a shit about. I bet you looked at a collection of choices for paint or carpets or plug sockets and thought, I don't care. Of course, the extreme of that is when it comes into your life. But what I'm trying to indicate is that the emotion is the same, just on a different scale. If we think it is life-threatening, it will never go away, then guess what? That's what happens. It's about bringing it into perspective. And you feel it because you are trying new medication, or you're coming off medication, or you're trying to be sober. Then remember that this is a symptom of a transitional period, and that transitions always come to a resolution. Transition means simply this, and this is Google Dictionary. Transition means movement, passage, or change from one position, state, stage, subject, concept, etc. to another. Change. It's like you walking through a space to get to another space. It's you walking down a lane to reach your dream home. It's you walking to the video store to get that movie you want to see. It's the process of going from one thing to another. Sometimes the journey is boring and we don't want to remember it. That's the time you feel that who gives a crap emotion. It's like when somebody asks you, how was your drive to some place or other? And you're just like, it's all right. It's that. That's anhedonia in everyday life. So I likened it to the chrysalis stage. Flatlined emotions are the chrysalis of your transformation to something even more amazing. I mean, caterpillars are pretty cool, but butterflies are beautiful. The chrysalis bit though, you know, I can take it or leave it really. So while you feel this non-emotion, there is nothing you could do. Take this opportunity for observation. Change is also a time for reorganizing and clearing. It is a chance to see what you have, what you want, and what you don't want anymore. So let's take the decorating metaphor. You clear a room to put up new wallpaper, then you realize how lovely the room looks with less clutter in it. So you get rid of stuff you no longer need. Now, if you can transfer that to your mind, and you can have a real go at clearing the clutter, the thoughts that prevent you or dissuade you from moving on, you could be onto something. The MI experience is about learning to let go. We've all had stuff happen to us in the past. It's life. It's what makes us who we are. Some of it was great. Some of it was so-so. Some of it was tragic. But that does make you rich. That makes you interesting and deep and gives you energy and power. You can empathize with someone else because of your life experience. You can see their point of view and listen to where they're coming from. You can disagree with someone but still understand them. And I think that's pretty wonderful. But you don't need to hold on to any of it. You don't need to remind yourself every day about it. You don't need to dig stuff up and lay it out on the table and study it. You can accept it without dwelling on it. Counseling offers us the chance to dig into our past and try to find out why. Mindfulness is about accepting it and moving forward because it can't be changed. You can't go back, you can't relive it. but you can accept it and let it go back to the past. We live in the present. What is important is right here, right now. The past is done, the future isn't written. Remaining in the present can give you a sense of acceptance and the chance to let go of things that no longer serve you or feel that they need to be part of you. And that is flatlined emotions, or anhedonia, which sounds a bit like a Greek island. It's a period of change in your life. It is a symptom of depression and or addiction, but it's also something that everyone goes through in some form or other. Change is scary, but it is necessary for you to grow and learn and shine brighter. So break that chrysalis open and fly like the butterfly you can be. There we are. You can all do that. So I have an exercise for you to do. Thank you. I've just been handed a note from Amanda. You can't see her because she's meant to be upstairs, but she's handed me a note. I will mention that in a minute. Thank you. So here's some homework for you to do. What goes on behind the scenes? I'd like you to think about things that make you tick and write them down. If you ever have one of those days where you don't need to do anything, they don't happen very often, but sometimes, you know, the washing up's been done, the house is hoovered, the washing's been sorted, you know, whatever is drying on the thing, so you can't do any more, and you just want to. It's a chance to sit there and do something that you want to do. And we find that really difficult. I mean, I sit there thinking, well, what do I want to do? There's so many things I've wanted to do. What do I want to do? Do I want to paint? Do I want to write? Do I want to watch a film? Do I want to listen to some music? Do I want to? So I wrote a list of things that I like to do. And then over the course of a few months, just tick stuff off when it's done. It's your chance to be with you, be kind to you. If you want to listen to an album from the beginning to the end, kids don't do that anymore, but from the start to the end with your headphones on, that is amazing. That's a decent 45 minutes of enjoyment, something to make you feel happy, make you feel better, and just give you that lift and that boost and put a smile on your face. Make a list of the things that you want to do. And if you want to share it in our Facebook group, please do. I have a Facebook group and I have now made it public. I didn't realize it was private, and now I've made it public so anyone can go in rather than have to wait for an invitation. And I'd like it to be a community where we share stuff. And, you know, if you've got a movie that you've just seen and you think it would really help people, stick it in there. If you've got a piece of music, if you've seen a picture, if something that has made you feel good or you think that people could learn from it, then please stick it in there. We'll create a lovely community of people we can all help each other and offer hints and tips and little bits and pieces. Right. Crikey, I'm rambling on. So let's move on now to movie of the week. Movie of the week this week is... Now, movies give us answers to our problems and they offer solutions. Why, do I hear you ask? Well, I know why. Don't call me Shirley. I didn't say Shirley. Anyway, movie of the week this week is this: Dead Poets Society. It's a very good film. It stars Robin Williams. And what's it about? It's about 2 hours, 8 minutes. No, here's the IMDb plot synopsis. Maverick teacher John Keating uses poetry to embolden his boarding school students to new heights of self-expression. Now, this film came out in 1989, and it was a hit movie in the summer of '89. It was a surprise hit, up against Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and the new version of Batman of the time, and the version we were used to before that was the 1960s camp one, and this was a more serious one. And it competed against that, and I think it was the third biggest movie of the year. Robin Williams is the star of the movie, although he sort of became when you watch it, he's more like a co-star because it's set in a boys' school. The boys are the stars. He's sort of in the background, but he's much better for it. He's understated. They utilize some of his improv style, but they use it very intelligently as he's teaching the kids to seize the day, carpe diem. That is the message of the film. This was his second hit after Good Morning Vietnam. And as I say, it was a surprise. It's full of emotion, and it helps to remind us how rich life can be. I think it's a beautiful film. It's very touching. It's very deep and very emotional, and it has real moments of sadness. We watched it the weekend. It's very sad at times, but also the message is uplifting. And that's what I took from it, because it is about seizing the day and using poetry and arts to lift you emotionally and to give you a life, really. It's about finding your voice and living life with passion and love. It's about shaking off the shackles of what is expected of you from others and doing what you want to do. And it's got an excellent performance by Robin Williams. So there we are. Dead Poets Society, available on DVD or Blu-ray. I don't know if it's on any streaming services. Might well be on Netflix. I think it used to be. But take a look if you can. Okay, now time to resolve question of the week. I asked you who said, "My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." Did anyone put an answer in? Princess Bride, Becky. Yes, 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 yes. It's not taken, I'm afraid. It is The Princess Bride, which great film, cracking film. Well, maybe that's one that can be used for this process, because it's a really beautiful film about it's a children's love story, but it's for adults as well, so we could all enjoy it. I recommend that one. So Becky, you win an imaginary prize. Well done, of your own choosing. Very well done. So here we go. We're nearly at the end. Just to remind you about the Facebook group page. Mindset Reset is the Facebook page. Come and join the group. One little announcement I've got to make. I was interviewed on BBC Radio Kent on Saturday morning, and you can catch up with it on BBC Sounds if you want to. It was a segment on the Pat Marsh show, but Adam Dowling was sitting in, and I was just interviewed about the MI experience and what it is and how it works and what it hopes to achieve. And it was amazing. I loved it. Although I had to get up at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, which ordinarily is fine, but I was working the night before. I didn't get home till after 1. So I was tired, and then Amanda wasn't very well, so we were up till about 3 o'clock. So but I did the interview on adrenaline, so there we go. Anyway, that is it for this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming along. I will be back next week, where I'll be looking at our minds through like a kaleidoscopic circus, and seeing sort of channeling our imaginations and all that sort of stuff. Hope to see you on the Facebook group. I'll be sharing stuff on there during the week. Enjoy your week and enjoy the film if you get a chance to see it. And I hope to see you soon. Wish you all well. Thank you very much for coming. Good night.